Why is the NSX so bad? That's something that I've always wondered. Or is it not bad, and it's just one of those cars that you look at and just quickly forget about? Well, in this video, I hope to take a look at the default setup for the Honda NSX GT3 in hopes of finding a way to drop my lap times here at the Nürburgring circuit. This video was actually suggested by one of you to take the Honda around Nürburgring, create a setup for it, and walk through everything that I've done to make a car drivable, at least for my own personal driving style. Now, just like in my previous videos, this setup is free for anybody to use and is going to be available in my Discord. Additionally, I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I host open servers for anybody to come in and join the races. All links to my Twitch channel and my Discord are provided below in the description, so definitely go give those a look. Now that all of those fancy introduction stuff and all that crap is done, let's go ahead and take a look at the default aggressive setup on this car before we take it on track. Okay, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into the default aggressive setup. We'll go ahead and take a look at tire pressures first. They're going to be pretty low for this hot lap, so we'll increase these on our first lap. We'll go out and get the correct tire pressures that we're going to need. So TC2 is at 2, ABS is at 3, ECU map is at 1, TC2 is at 2. Fuel we don't have to worry about, but we do want to go ahead and put the most aggressive brakes on this. Those should be good for at least a 3-hour race. So if you have anything longer than that, consider putting in pad 2s. Mechanical grip. Looks like we got 151,000 Newton meters up front for the wheel rate, 178,000 for the rear wheel rate. So the back is a little stiffer than the front. Same with the roll bar. So we got 4 up front, 6 in the rear. So it looks like this car from default is set up a little stiffer in the rear. Only a 40 Newton meter preload differential. So we might want to look at stiffening that up a little bit. And it should help with braking. Dampers look okay. I don't think we're really going to have to mess with these. From this default setup, whenever I look at the damper histograms, they're pretty on point. So they're pretty close to what you'd want. You don't really have to worry about messing with these. And then this is the stock aggressive aero variation, which is going to be the first thing that we adjust. So in this hot lap mode, I'm going to go ahead and drop the brake duct down to 2 and the front down to 3. Also, we'll leave this as it is now, just with those 2 changes. But after we get on track and drive the car for the first time, this is going to be the first thing that we adjust. So yeah. Okay. So now that we took a look at that setup, let's jump on track and see what kind of lap time we can put down using just this base setup. All right, here we are in the NSX on the default aggressive setup. We'll see what we can do. And I'll try to talk through what I'm feeling as I'm going through the corners, on the straights, on the braking points, just to kind of understand what the car is doing. That way we can make adjustments when we jump into the setup afterwards. Brake at the 100 meter. Quite a bit of understeer under braking. The liftoff is pretty decent. I don't feel any crazy liftoff oversteer or anything. It's that braking understeer that's kind of hurting right now. Got a lot of liftoff oversteer there. Some understeer there. Car doesn't want to turn. I'm pretty smooth out of that. One thing that the NSX does have is some turbo lag there, so you'll get the car braking loose on corner exit if you're not too careful. A lot of understeer going through the Schumacher S's. It just doesn't feel confident. Again, there's that braking understeer, which turns into snap oversteer. These are all things that we can probably make big improvements on with the right tire pressures, as well as adjusting that aero variation. And then some oversteer coming out of that corner. 1:57.1 is the current lap time to beat. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right, here we are. Stock aggressive setup still. We're in the aero tab, and let's go ahead and take a look at what our base aero variation is. It's at currently 4%, and I think the car is going to do the best if we move some of that aero variation to the back. So, well, it'll make the car a little bit more stable and should help us get out of the corners a little better. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the front ride height. As you can see, that increased it to up to 5.1, but I'm also going to bring down the rear ride height, which brings it down to 3.8. And I'm going to do one click up on the rear wing. So all of these changes, I know that it was quite a lot, but this is what I felt as I was setting this car up for the video. This is what I felt most comfortable with. Roughly a 3.6% aero variation. Really felt stable, but at the same time, it allowed me to be aggressive on the throttle without the car getting upset. So let's go ahead and take a look at our tire pressures real quick too. Looks like they're a little off, so we'll go ahead and increase the front PSI on the left tire up by 8.8. That should put it at 27.5. I'll do one click up on the front right. On the rear left, we need to go up quite a bit, so we'll need to go up 14 clicks. And then I'll do one more click just in case. And then on the rear right, we need to go up. Oh God, I can't math. 9 clicks. Targeting 27.7 psi. 1, 2, 7. All right, so that should put the rear tires at 27.7. The front's at 27.5. PSI hot, and that should help with some of the traction issues that we had as well. All right, let's go ahead and jump back on track and see what lap time we can do now. Let's see if we can beat that 1:57.1 from our last lap there. Car already feels more stable coming out of the corner, but we'll see how that translates through the lap. Let's see. Braking at the 100-meter board. Understeer feels a lot better going into turn 1 there. Feel a lot more comfortable getting on throttle through there. Oh yeah, and coming out of that corner, car feels a lot more stable. And I can really be more aggressive with it, even through here. So overall, the car feels a lot better. Little slide. So we have some exit oversteer. I broke too late there. But still, the car feels great. There is some on braking understeer still, which I think we're going to be able to adjust with our brake bias. But yeah, just going into that corner right there feels so much better. This NSX is a tricky one to drive, that's for sure. This should be a better lap. Yep, there we have it. 156.3. Let's go ahead and jump back into the garage here and take a look at mechanical, see if we can drop that lap time down even further. First thing I'm taking a look at is the anti-roll bar. I think 4 is going to be fine. Brake bias is one thing that I mentioned on track. So let's go ahead and reduce this down to, let's do 53.8. So this is going to take the pressure off the front brakes, sending more brake power to the rear brakes, which should help with turn-in, or at least that's the hope. So that should give us more rotation on turn-in. The wheel rate, we're a little soft here, 151. I think I'd like to bump this up. Let's do 1 click for now. The bump stop rate, I think we'll be fine at 900 Newton meters or newtons. I think it's newtons. I could be wrong, but 900 should be fine. But the bump stop range, so that's something that I was also feeling is a lot of understeer, under braking, which means is that there's a very good chance that we are riding the bump stops into corners. So let's go ahead and raise this up. Let's start with, let's start with 10. That should also help free the front end a little bit and give us a little bit more turn in. The rear rate, again, it feels a little soft, so I'm going to go up. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it at 178 just to see how that feels. The rate is at 500. Let's go ahead and increase this. Instead of increasing the wheel rate, we'll just increase the bump stop rate. This is the stiffness of the bump stop that's in this suspension. So when it bottoms out, it hits that bump stop, and the bump stop does compress, but this allows you to adjust the rate at what that bump stop compresses. So let's go ahead and try 700 on each. I don't think we need 40 on the range. I think we can bring that down to 35 here. So I want the back end to hook a little better coming out of the corners. Typically, if you're thinking of a front engine rear wheel drive car, you want to have a softer rear anti-roll bar in the hopes that the suspension will move a little bit more and you'll keep the tires stuck to the ground. However, you already have a lot of weight back there with the engine and the NSX, so I'm actually going to bump this up. We'll see what that does. Also, the preload. I want to go ahead and tighten up the diff a little bit. We'll go up to 80. So these are my changes. Your changes might vary. If you don't feel like the car is understeering as much, don't put as much bump stop range in it. If you feel like the car isn't turning enough, increase the bump stop range. So these are all things that you can adjust on your own. But as always, if you have any questions, make sure to leave those in the comments below. Or again, jump in the Discord, ask questions there. There's a bunch of us in there that will be more than happy to help you out. So again, electronics, fuel, brakes, all that looks good. And now the tire pressures look better. Looks like we have a 27.4 on the left rear. So I'm going to come up we'll just do 0.2 or 2 more clicks. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump on track and see how this feels. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and see if we can beat this lap time. 56.3 to beat. See if we can get it into the 55s, or heck, maybe we can get into the 54s. That'd be nice. Was able to brake later there. Get on the power sooner. A lot sooner there too. Car feels really good. I'm liking this. Brake later through there. On the power earlier. Yeah, this is feeling great. Just a little lift off there in the Schumacher S's and it handles it fine. Oh, this is going to be good. Let's see how it handles the chicane. No issues at all. A little white there, but that's okay. A 54.4. I think that's proof. Proof is in the pudding, right there. Absolutely. So we went from a 57.1 down to a 54.4 just by making some little setup changes. Again, I'll go ahead and go over these real quick. So here's our tire pressures. Again, 27.5 on the fronts, 27.7 and 27.6. Honestly, that can change from lap to lap, so I wouldn't even worry about it. That's pretty darn close. Electronics, 2, 3, 1 for the map, 2 for TC2. Pad 1s. Mechanical, all we did is a few things here. We reduced the brake bias to 53.8. The wheel rate to 160. The rear, we left the wheel rate alone. Bump stop range, our bump stop rate we left alone on the front, but we increased that range to 10. Bump stop rate we increased to 700 in the rear. Bump stop range we dropped to 35. Increased the roll bar and the diff. Didn't even touch the dampers. And in the aero, we dropped the front. We dropped the rear. We added some rear wing and we closed the ducts a little bit. So there you have it. Proof in the pudding. This NSX is truly a quick car. It just takes a little bit of work in order to get it to work with your driving style. And for me, I needed a lot more turn in than I needed for oversteer. But your taste might be different. You might want a car that is a little bit more oversteery and more stable under braking. So those are all things that you can adjust on your own. And again, if you have any questions, make sure to let me know down below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Now I'm going to go ahead and transition over to the lap of my fastest lap, which was a 154.1 on this setup. And I'll roll that here in just a second. Quick reminder, I do stream, and also this setup is free for anybody to use in the Discord, so feel free to jump in there and grab it. But again, until next time, we will see you there. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and if you like this video, click the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and give me a subscribe. Other than that, have a wonderful time. We'll see you next time.